Let me share my screen to the slide. All right. And I'll be doing the slides for y'all, or like moving it forward or back, whatever.
Right.
Oh wait,
Sounds
let me
good.
put the camera. Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Wait, how do
I just
I?
realized I have it on my I have the document on my screen, so it's just gonna
Okay,
look like I'm staring at it the whole time.
okay, okay. All right. Wait, hold on. Oh, shoot. Ready,
Yeah.
set, and
Hello. This is our presentation on the biome called the Pacific Temperate Rainforest. From Alaska to Northern California, there is a region of North America that is made up of many different tropical seeming trees. Things like the Sitka spruce and the western hemlock are some of these trees that are very moisture enriched. Every year, there's about 12 to 14 feet of rain. That means it's similar to a rainforest that you would find in the jungle, like the Amazon rainforest, but instead we have them here in North America. The average temperature around this biome is the 80-degree range, low to high 80s, and sometimes it can get lower in the winter season, sometimes in like the 60s. When it's in the summer, it gets a little bit warmer. These trees, like the Sitka spruce and the western hemlock, create a thick canopy, almost creating a barrier of leaves between the sky and the earth. And they've seen these forests for centuries, ever since humans have existed. We've lived in these forests, whether it be the Native Americans or the people from Britain or anyone that came to America. There is many different flora and fauna in this region, some that we will talk about later. The humans that lived in this region had found food through fishing, scavenging, hunting, but they also had to compete with some of the animals that we are going to talk about today. Some of these animals that I would like to just bring up quickly before we go in more detail are the gray wolf, the American black bear, the white-tailed deer, and also the cougar. But that's not all the animals that live in this area. Some of these are also like salmon, mountain goats, and even bald eagles. These animals have, throughout their time being alive, have adapted their skin to make a better camouflage. So, for example, the Douglas fir had a very thick bark on it to survive forest fires, and black bears had adapted longer black claws to claw into these thicker trees and also capture salmon. So, that being said, we would like to get into the slides. Next slide, please. So, my name is Alex Volkov, and the animal that I had picked was the gray wolf, also scientifically known as the Canis lupus. Throughout time, the Canis lupus has been seen through many different species. Some of these species are dogs, and also dingoes are part of this same family. They have been theorized to be originated in the region of Eurasia and North America. More specifically, North America is the region we are going to be talking about. Gray wolves have a fur composition of gray, brown, or black, depending on the region they're from. But the best way to tell that they're a wolf, besides the very thick fur, is around their mouth and their underbelly. They have a very white fur. The average weight for these male wolves, when they're adults, range from 40 to 175 pounds, while the females, when they're adults, have a weight range from 60 to 100 pounds. The gray wolf is a typically medium to large sized animal. The average body length for these adult male wolves specifically, we're going to go with, is 3 to 5 feet, and their tail length averages from 1 to 2 feet. The lifespan of these wolves live from around 8 to 13 years in the wild. But if they're held in captivity, they live for a couple years longer, around 15 years. Actually, around two-thirds of the United States is covered with the different types of gray wolves. Um, so they live in the forest, which means they have to hunt more animals. They can't really eat plants. They're a very carnivorous species. So some of the things that they eat that are on the larger side would be deer, elk, and bison, but they also hunt smaller animals like beavers, rodents, and hares. All of these animals that are being hunted are competing with the gray wolf, but they're also being eaten by things like cougars and bears. More specifically, the gray wolf and the cougar and the bear, all three of them hunt the white-tailed deer. So that means there's a lot of competition for these animals. But the way that these wolves get an upper hand is they hunt in packs. They hunt in packs of around 9 to 15 wolves, with one, as you can see here in the top right photo, one alpha wolf, one largest and most experienced wolf to lead this pack and hunt these animals. And as you can see, these babies, as you can see in the photo on the bottom right, are the ones that are kind of held back and washed over from the females or the mothers of these packs. So the deer not only has to compete with other animals for food, but they have to compete for survival against us, against humans. Us humans as a species have been hunting wolves since we were created. Um, they used to be enemies, they became companions, we domesticated them, and now they're dogs. But that doesn't mean they're still not hunted and still not killed regularly. A lot of humans kill them not only for meat, but they kill them for decoration, for clothing. A lot of fur you see, at least older times, maybe not as much nowadays, they use more synthetic ones. A lot of the fur was wolf fur. And if you've ever seen in a cartoon or in like a hunting store, there's these things that look like giant wolves that are compressed and only the head is normal. Those are real wolves. They were killed and the meat of them were taken away. So since all of these animals are being hunted and the wolves are being killed for decoration, they're dying. Their species is, let's just say, going extinct, to put it in an easy term to understand. And yeah, their ecosystem is not thriving well because of it. And that being said, we'd like to move on to our next animal.
My name is Brian Lee, and the animal that I chose is the white-tailed deer. The white-tailed deer is a species that lives in very many places, from southern Canada all the way down to Bolivia. The genus species of the white-tailed deer is called the Otocoileus virginianus. The white-tailed deer's average lifespan in the wild is about 2 years, with the max being 20. While the max is 20, very few white-tailed deer live past the age of 10. In captivity, the white-tailed deer's lifespan is on average 16 to 23 years. White-tailed deer males weigh from 200 to 300 pounds, while females on average weigh between 90 to 200 pounds. White-tailed deer vary in size, with the head and body length varying from 59 to 79 inches. Some of the visible characteristics of the white-tailed deer is the white fur that is located behind the nose, around the eyes, inside the ear, over the chin and throat, on the inside of their leg, and beneath their tails. The white-tailed deer's fur changes with the season, with the fur being grayer during the winter and redder during the summer. While white-tailed deer have excellent vision and hearing, they rely on their keen sense of smell to detect danger. Some of the differences between a male and female white-tailed deer is that males have antlers while females do not. The male's antlers shed from January to March and grow in April or May. The white-tailed deer, although occasionally seen in herds grazing, are a mostly solitary animal. While some groups form, these groups are usually matriarchal or fraternal. Female white-tailed deer typically stay with their mother for about 2 years, while males tend to leave the group within the first year. Some of the predators of the white-tailed deer are humans, gray wolves, bears, mountain lions, jaguars, and coyotes. The animals that the white-tailed deer compete with for resources include Angora goats, domesticated sheep, Ouadad sheep, cattle, Sika deer, axis deer, fallow deer, black buck, and antelope. Male white-tailed deer compete in order to gain breeding rights by locking antlers and fighting until one submits. White-tailed deer breed once yearly, with their breeding season being from October to December, with the fawns being born in spring. It is common for females to give birth to twin fawns. The diet of white-tailed deer consists of corn, soybeans, cotton, alfalfa, acorns, mushrooms, grasses, fruits, and various broad-leaved plants. In the past, white-tailed deer almost went extinct due to overhunting, but currently are at their highest numbers due to improvements in their habitat. In 2003, the white-tailed deer were removed from the federal endangered species list. Currently, white-tailed deer are not able to be precisely estimated, but they are to be ranged between 8 and 15 million in North America. With white-tailed deer being the most common deer in North America, humans hunt nearly 6 million white-tailed deer annually. Some of the positive impacts that white-tailed deer have on humans is for their meat and heads. Their heads are commonly mounted on walls in areas such as recreational outdoors. White-tailed deer also have a negative impact on humans due to their diet causing damage to crops, fruit trees, and ornamental plants in areas where human civilization and their living areas overlap. White-tailed White-tailed deer also cause damage to forest vegetation if their numbers are high due to overbrowsing. And if we could get to the next slide.
The American black bear. The American black bear is also known by its genus species Ursus americanus. The American black bear has an average lifespan of 18 years in the wild, with the oldest being documented at 31 years old. But in captivity, they're known to live up to 30 to 35 years because there's no one there to hunt them. The colors vary from blonde to black, but in the western states, they vary more, with half of them being about brown. And this is important to not get them confused with the grizzly bear. Uh, the grizzly bear has a distinctive hump in its shoulder. The black bear does not have this. Its rump is higher in the front shoulders, and the black bear, as you can see in the pictures on the right, has a straight face profile with pointier and taller ears, and that are less rounded than the grizzly bear's ears. Its front claws, as Alex mentioned earlier, have grown to be 1 to 2 inches long. This is to help facilitate climbing. Its tracks are smaller than the grizzly bears with shorter claws and toes more separated and curved. Adult black bears live weigh up to 250 pounds, while females weigh an average of 140 pounds. Adults range from 5 to 6 feet long and are 2 to 3 feet long from the shoulders. The female has 6 nipples, but often only two primary teats produce the milk. Um, Blackbirds live in the temperate rainforest, as mentioned, which is our biome, but they can live in dry eastern slopes, woodlands, neighborhood greenbelts, and anywhere they can find food at. They live from elevations all the way down to sea level to all the way up to 10,000 foot high elevations. Their habitat is characterized by thick forested areas and understory vegetation with a heavy supply of fruits, nuts, and shrubs. For the most part, adult black bears live solitary lives, but during the mating seasons, they like to go out and look for mates and take care of their cubs. The black bear eats almost anything. It's an omnivore. but in the Pacific temperate rainforest, salmon makes up a substantial part of their diet. They're also known to climb trees to scavenge for nuts and berries, and they tear apart logs to search for insects, larvae, rodents, and amphibians. Black bears can begin to associate campsites for food, often scavenging bags, garbage cans, and even cars with food. Humans are seen as one of the biggest threats to black bears. They're susceptible to being hunted and even being hit by vehicles, which is how most of them die nowadays. And as cubs, black bears are seen as easy meals to other bears, but black bears are also known to compete with cougars, wolves, other bears, and humans for their resources. Next slide, please.
Hi, my name is Mariah, and today I'll be talking about one of North America's most elusive and powerful predators, the cougar, also known as the mountain lion. These animals play a critical role in maintaining balance within forest ecosystems, particularly in the Pacific temperate rainforests. The cougar genus species is the puma concolor, sometimes called catamount, puma, or panther as well. It is a large, small cat native to the Americas. It was placed in the genus Puma by William Jardine in 1834. Cougars live up to 13 years in the wild and up to 20 years in captivity. The cougar's natural environment is the Pacific temperate rainforest stretching from Northern California to Alaska. It is a unique ecosystem characterized by abundant rainfall, moderate temperatures, and a high diversity of plant and animal life, dominated by coniferous trees like Douglas fir and Stica spruce. The physical characteristics of a cougar consist of a tan or reddish brown to dusky color or slate gray coat, 24 inches to 36 inches of a tail, or about 2/3 of body length, while white is underneath with a dark brown or black tip. Males usually are up to 40% larger than females. 25 to 32 inches tall at the shoulder, and also 5.5 to more than 8 feet long. Adult males average approximately 140 pounds, but in a perfect situation, they may weigh 180 pounds. While adult female cougars average about 25% smaller than males. Males have a black spot of hair 4 to 5 inches below their anus, which is a character used for identifications, while females do not. Cougars use steep canyons, rock outcroppings, and boulders or vegetation, such as dense brush and forests, as their habitat, to remain hidden while hunting. Cougars are usually solitary unless it is a female with young. Territorially, they maintain spatial separation between each other, thereby ensuring everyone has the resources necessary to survive. The mountain lion's diet consists primarily of deer, both white-tailed deer and mule deer, but their natural diet will also include a wide variety of other animals, including elk, bighorn sheep, smaller wildlife species such as rabbit, turkey, raccoon, and porcupine. Cougars face threats from humans, wolves, and bears, and compete with wolves, bears, and coyotes for food. As a solitary predator in the Pacific temperate rainforest, the cougar reproduces through internal fertilization. Cougar births peak during the late winter and early spring, although mating can happen anytime throughout the year. Males and females join for a short mating period, after which females normally deliver between 2 and 4 kittens each time they reproduce. The survival rate of young cougars is low since only about 50% make it past their first year because of threats from predators and starvation, along with human-induced dangers like habitat destruction and vehicle accidents. Kittens remain with their mother for a maximum period of 2 years, during which she instructs them in essential survival skills. The reproductive cycle of female cougars results in them giving birth every 2 to 3 years. And during their mating periods, females emit loud calls and leave scent marks while males compete to gain access to females. Males' reproductive success depends on factors like physical size, strength, capabilities, and territorial dominance. The cougar remains a viable species on a global scale and holds a least concern. Yet its regional populations encounter dangers from habitat fragmentation along with hunting activities and road accidents. The main threat to Pacific temperate rainforest cougars comes from human expansion, although protected pathways and educational initiatives help enhance their survival prospects. In conclusion, while cougars are adaptable and resilient, their future depends largely on our actions. And to the next slide for our interactions.
Most of the interactions that happen between the animals that have been chosen is competition. Black bears and gray wolves compete for food, and gray wolves also compete with cougars. This all boils down to hunting down white-tailed deer. But all of these animals are hunted by humans for fun and resources.
And in conclusion, the Pacific temperate rainforest is known for its rain, trees, rivers, and vegetation. The inhabitants are gray wolf, white-tailed deer, black bear, and cougar. Supports many different species of plants and animals, and then it contributes to the regulation of the Earth's climates, and threats of extinction is rising due to climate change and deforestation. Thank you for listening to our presentation today, and hopefully everyone learned something. Oh my gosh, okay. Let me stop sharing. Okay, and stop